Hey guys, it's Patricia from Tarantula Heaven here again, and in this video I will be discussing a few tips to easily tell whether or not a tarantula is healthy. This is a question that I keep getting asked all the time on my Tumblr blog, so I thought it would be a really good idea to address it and give you just a few simple things that you can do to kind of judge how healthy your tarantula is at any given time. So the first thing you want to kind of look at is what's your tarantula's body type or weight. Now, of course, this is really hard to tell, but one kind of signal is a abdomen that is extremely round or like out of proportion with the rest of its body. Obesity in tarantulas is actually possible if they're being overfed. So while there isn't much evidence that actually proves that obesity in tarantulas does alter their lifespans and shorten it, there is proof that states that a tarantula who is overweight can be more prone to injury, such as abdomen ruptures or stuff like that if they fall. So keeping your tarantula's weight in check is always good. I myself have a little bit of trouble with this because, like Spidey eats maybe like 5 worms per year, and she fasts for like 80% of her life, and she still has a big abdomen. So I really don't know how to keep that spider booty in check. I kind of do believe that maybe some tarantulas are just they just have bigger bottoms than others. But so that's one thing to look for. It's just making sure not to overfeed your tarantulas too much. Another thing is you want to make sure that your tarantulas are hydrated. They should always have access to water, and I would say that hydration is one of the biggest concerns with tarantulas as far as their health goes, because they don't need to eat all the time, but they definitely need to drink. So an example of a tarantula who is dehydrated is a tarantula whose abdomen is getting smaller and kind of like taking on a shriveled appearance. So a healthy hydrated tarantula will have a nice round bum, and it will not look shriveled like that. Another thing you want to look for is any sort of spots on your tarantula that might signify like a wound or an abscess or tumor. Those are health concerns that can actually happen to tarantula. I do mention that in an injury guide that I'm going to leave a link to below, and what those kind of things look like. But so you want to make sure that if you're picking a tarantula out in a convention or store or something like that, that you are looking for any kind of marks on their bodies, and making sure that there's nothing like that present. Another area to look at is you want to make sure that there isn't any waste caked around their bums, because that can signify that there's some sort of anal impaction or constipation going on. And you also want to inspect their fangs around that little red mouth part, because there are definitely parasites that do attack tarantulas, such as nematodes, and those are pretty serious for tarantulas. So you want to make sure that your tarantula doesn't have any of those signs, that their fang area is pretty clean and there's nothing kind of going on over there. And another sign of a healthy tarantula is, of course, healthy molts. Molts that are complete and are not troubled. This kind of gets, when a tarantula gets to old age, molts can be kind of a concern. And if they're also dehydrated or have any other health issues, it can be a problem. So you want to make sure that your tarantula is having good molts, because that's a sign of a healthy, hydrated tarantula. And of course, when we talk about physical health, we also have to talk about emotional health. So while tarantulas don't really have emotions as far as we know, a sign of a happy, healthy tarantula is a tarantula that is not stressed or freaking out about anything. And if you have a tarantula, you know that they get stressed out pretty easily. So keeping your tarantula calm is definitely good practice. So the signs that you want to look out for as far as stress in your tarantula is excessive roaming around, excessive climbing of the walls, especially in a ground-dwelling tarantula. That can be a sign of high stress. Maybe there's something wrong with their tank that's causing their stress. So you want to keep an eye out for that. Another sign of stress is excessively flicking hairs. So, for example, major bald spots on its abdomen that are not connected to premolt can be a sign that your tarantula has been feeling threatened or flicking hairs a lot, and that's a sign of stress, so you want to be wary of that too. Basically, a tarantula that's calm doesn't really do much. They're referred to as pet rocks, especially certain species. So what you want to do is you just want to maintain those stress levels and keep things as stable conditions as possible for them. And that goes a long way as far as their health So those are just a few easy things that you can do to kind of monitor your tarantula and maintain a happy, healthy environment for them. If you would like to learn more about tarantulas, I do have a tarantula guide out that I'm going to leave a link to below. And also feel free to subscribe and comment and let me know what you think, as well as anything I might have left out. And feel free to also make suggestions. I'm really liking the suggestions that I've been getting from my blog. So I appreciate you guys listening and watching, and I will see you again soon.